This is going to be kind of a weird video because this is sort of a type of stuff I make usually, during whenever it's around my birthday, when I go through the whole year, try to reflect on what the fuck's going on and kind of try to see if I can grow from that. 2023, if you're now in it, and I'm scared going into this year. The past few years, every year it just feels like things keep getting worse and worse and worse. It's always been on a downhill trajectory ever since like I basically left Norway. This was back in 2019, so I feel like I sort of woke up. I feel like now when I think back and I really try to remember those times, until that year, it feels like my physical and mental age were basically the same. So every time I physically got older internally, I also got older to that same age. But the moment I left Norway, in 2018, sometime after 2018, I cannot get my mind to pinpoint when, and where this was, but it feels like I just fucking aged. 2035, that was my goal for possible retirement. But the reason I had that year is because I basically already wanted to have most of the stuff figured out by then, where I could just focus on kids and watching them grow. But I just recently ran my updated projection, and that year has now been turned into 2039. 38 years old versus 42 years old. I don't want to have a kid at 42 years old. I want to have it earlier. My dad had me, I guess, when he was around 35 or so. Man. So 8th, I'll be in the Netherlands. And I have 23 days until February. I have to find a new job and already cover the costs of February. So I have 23 days to find another job and already start working because we cannot pay ourselves anyway. So and after my university payment goes through, I'd basically literally will be down to about 30 euros in my account. So I'd really have to grind this month. So new job plus already covering my costs. Which reminds me, I still have to talk to university and see if we can somehow figure something out with them, or even that's even a possibility. Because I gotta focus on the startup right now because that's what this year is gonna be critical for us. Like we either get that right this year or this never gonna work. The legislations are coming up in 6 months, and then the ban is coming out by the end of the year. So we will have every tool to succeed if you put in the hard work. So I just have to put in the time. This has to be my priority. I also have to get a credit card. If I urgently need to do something, or let's say something comes up, I'm fucked. I can't afford for something unexpected to pop up as I am living currently. Uh, and even if I have to go and live on the streets, I won't be able to liquidate my current investment account. Um, I mean, I can, but I'm not going to, especially not with the current prices. And I haven't even added anything to it this past year. I just physically couldn't afford to put more money in there, even though it's the best time to buy right now. And it might continue to be a best buy for the next year or so. So that's that's not an option. At the same time, we have to basically figure out our proper target customers and just go full force on that, because February is basically around the time that they all start purchasing the stuff they need for summer, because this has to be done a little bit beforehand. And by 2024, we have to at least, worst case scenario, bare minimum, we have to 10x our current revenue and projections. I don't know how to explain it, but you ever felt like drowning? Or you ever get that feeling when you're about to drown and it's just very hard to breathe? That's kind of how I feel right now. I really want to breathe, but I can't. I've been having nightmares for the past like 2 months, and it's only getting worse. I haven't slept for 2 weeks, even though I'm next to family right now, and I think that's another part of the problem, because I'm realizing what I'm missing out on. The family. I really enjoyed this Christmas break. I never have a holiday, man. It's gonna be extra worse now getting back in, because I was so used to the full-on robot mode that it's going to be such a hard transition to go back to how I was doing things. But at the same time, it's like it's these guys that give me sort of motivation internally in my mind to keep going. It's weird. It's like every problem I've ever had feels like it's fixable. especially this past, year and a half or year or two. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but ever since I've gone through this past year or so, every single other problem feels like it's fixable. But at the same time, I'm no longer making plan A's, B's, C's, D's, whatever. So I'm no longer coming up with 10 different scenarios and backup plans and fail safes. And that's something I've never done, and it's scary. I haven't felt uncomfortable in a new environment for a really long time. I've all My comfort zone for the longest time ever had become discomfort had become my comfort, but only because I had so many different scenarios in mind where if something deviated from the actual plan, I knew what to do, which is why I always had answers or some answer to anything when it came to life or what the fuck's going on with me. I don't have that anymore, and I'm a little scared. But I feel like being scared and these emotions are actually good because it keeps me running. I want to cry, but no tears coming out. And I'm afraid that's because I've cried before that it's not coming out. I forgot my own birthday last year. On the day that it was my birthday, I was working. And I just realized that oh, it is my birthday. So I drove to a McDonald's, bought a brownie, found a tea candle somewhere in the car, and lit it up. And I celebrated there on my own, and I think that was possibly one of the saddest things I've done. Happily, I managed to catch it on camera. I used to do this thing where I would leave my camera rolling when I was driving. Videos like this, I don't promote them. I just leave it there because I feel like it's more like a therapy talk. We usually highlight the good things and the positives, and then we keep the negative silence. Well, I still put it out there. I just don't really promote them the same way. And one reason is because a lot of people seeing that I'm carefree and happy, they feel carefree and happy. And there's a lot of people that go to me and expect for me to have an answer for them, and I usually come up with an answer and I present it to them, or rather a solution. There's a lot of people out there that at least consult me on certain solutions, and I usually figure out a solution for them. And I can't do it to myself, it seems like, anymore. I've been myself's best friend lately. I don't know how to explain. I stopped bullying myself for a really long time. I was taking care of myself whenever I felt like I needed to take care of myself. But I feel like I got nothing anymore. It's really strange. And I've been going on a lot of walks, like midnight random walks. It's sometimes a walk helps you catch your breath. Sometimes you need air, breathing. So this is how it likes to be a struggling entrepreneur, right? Not what Hollywood shows you. You'll be broke for a really long time. You'll have really fucked up sleep, even worse sleep than other people. Creativity comes to you randomly in the weirdest times. And the rest of the time, you're just fucking working. You have no social life. There's not a lot of people you can talk to anymore because I feel like you have to, in order to do a lot of these things, you have to cut yourself out of a lot of social scenarios. So you stop being able to tune in a lot of gatherings or a lot of interaction with people you used to love to interact with, just because your scheduling doesn't meet anymore. You anger some people here or there. You burn some bridges here and there, even though it's not what you want it to do. And I feel like that's people don't understand what you're going through. It's just about me. Everyone's thinking about themselves. It's the me generation, the ego. Even what I'm talking about now, It's technically my ego. I can look at a lot of people out there and say that they've had it a lot worse. I mean, look at my, look at my brother and sister-in-law. Like I made a video speech for them a while ago, and it's and the reason I made that video as a speech instead of a speech, I mean, I had a little speech explaining the video, but the reason I had that speech, the video speech, was because there was no way I could actually say any of that without breaking down. And when we were playing it, I was sobbing because I knew that they didn't have mom and dad the way I did. So I grew up with no pain, nothing, relatively. Not the same type of pain, anyways.
Sometimes hearts with scars are more beautiful. They're unique. 3 scarred hearts weren't enough to heal each other completely, but maybe 5 is.
So I had all the privilege in the world. I had all the privilege in the world to succeed, or go, or at least be successful the way, I don't know, parents want me to be successful. But I can say my brother and my sister-in-law are successful, and they worked for it. I mean, and they are older. But hey, at least if one of the kids is a failure, it's not them. I feel like I'm alone, and I don't want to accept any of my family's help. I feel like everyone's kind of dealing, or I don't even want to ask for help because I feel like everyone's dealing with their own thing. I want to cry, but nothing's coming out. I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, I know it's gonna be alright. Life's gonna suck for a while, and then I'll be alright. I think true hell is meeting the person you could have been. I'm still 25, so there's still a long way, but it just sucks. It sucks when you do something and you give it all you have, and you see no results, and you continue seeing results. Compound interest was something that got me to try new things, understanding compound interest and then applying it to every part of my life. When you look at compound interest, there's ups and downs, but in the long run, it's all uphill. So a bad day doesn't mean bad life. If you look at your life, whoever's watching this, even if you are still watching this, you're gonna have a lot of bad days, but that doesn't mean you have a bad life. As long as you have the basics, you're okay. There's a lot of people in this world that don't even have the basics, and they don't have the same opportunities and whatnot. I want to be able to one day offer that to some of the people that didn't have the same privileges. The only thing is, I can never use my disabilities, or I don't know, anything that has been wrong in my life as an excuse. But looking at other people's problems and still trying to find a solution for them is still something that remains my escape from my own pain. Risk being seen, risk going through failure, risk failure, accept failures. I've learned so much from all these failures. I learned more in 3 years than my whole life combined. I learned to appreciate the rest of my life. Um, I'm not happy, but I'm fulfilled doing what I do. Or rather, I'm fulfilled in in pursuit of fulfillment. And I think the right environment can actually help you get through a lot of tough things. If you surround yourself with a lot of people who think alike, are ambitious, are big-minded. So how do you kill a great idea? Give it to somebody who can't process that idea. Give it to somebody whose mind is smaller than the idea. And if it doesn't work, at least I can say I tried. And even Ricky Gervais said this, but it's better to do something and be criticized for it than do nothing and criticize others. 2016 to 17 was my best physical form. And that, with everything else that I'm kind of doing to myself, and my mental health and physical health, is just not healthy. So that's going to be my New Year's resolution. I'm going to fix up my diet because I'm tired of eating frozen pizzas. You have 450 boxes or more frozen pizza boxes at our office. It's not that we can't cook whatever, it's just that it's the easiest and the cheapest thing to make. Just to go through, just to survive. But it's just, I don't know, I think life is more than survival. I think people change sometimes through pain, sometimes through inspiration, sometimes through whatever. I mean, I've read somewhere that there's like 4 stages, but I feel like I've experienced all 4 fucking stages the past year. I'm behind so many stuff right now. It's just I can't seem to be able to focus on a specific direction and just go through that. And I think that it's starting to bite me in the ass. And some might argue, why did you leave Norway? Because it was too easy. And I was getting depressed, being surrounded by so many depressed and sad people. It took away so much energy from me just to try to cheer everyone up. And there's a lot of nice people here. But basically, what I did was I befriended everyone, and then I just filtered it over time. But if anyone needed anything, I was always there. And that's another thing that I've learned, from my last shitty, tedious, I don't know, unglamorous job, is that friend of everyone is really friend of no one, but also the enemy of yourself. So I'm pretty confrontational. If I would, if I get the chance to, I'll call people out on their bullshit. I don't really take shit from people if I don't want to. Uh, and I'm willing to wear the same goddamn fucking clothing that I'm wearing every day because I don't need to impress anyone. I mean, I might wear something fancy just because it makes me feel good and to look kind of nicer, but I'm okay with wearing the same goddamn shirt or the same type of shirt every day because I don't feel like I have to impress anyone. As long as I know, that's enough for me. And I know that some of the people that matter also know. So who the hell do I have to impress? And by me pretending to be someone I'm not, I would attract the wrong fucking group, which is something that has happened to me in the past. If I'm looking for a partner, I'm not gonna find a partner that I really want. I think there's somebody out there for everyone. Equilibrium. What is a father? A father is a protector. I want to be able to be that man. And I also want somebody to be able to tell me you're twice the man I thought you were. Alright, well, thanks for coming, dropping by, Rambling Raymond at 1:30 in the morning. And thanks for joining this TED Talk if you made it this far. Alright,